Little Nemo, Adventures in Slumberland, was an old newspaper comic created by Winsor McCay, an American cartoonist known for his various influential works such as Gertie the Dinosaur. The comic had 3 runs, the first from 1905 to 1911 in the New York Herald, the second from 1911 to 1914 in the New York American, and the third and final after a 10-year hiatus from 1924 to 1926, when he returned to the New York Herald. The plot of the comic revolved on a little boy named Nemo and his strange, bizarre, and at times fantastical dreams he had each night before awakening from bed in the very last panel of each comic. The comic was one of the earliest to feature an ongoing plot. At first, Nemo's goal was simply to enter a kingdom in the dream world known as Slumberland, where the princess awaits for him and enlists the aid of several characters to do so. At first, these efforts proved disastrous, usually ending with some event that causes Nemo to awaken in his bed. However, eventually, Slumberland is reached. Meets Nemo, the princess, and king, along with several other characters, most notably the villain-turned friend, Flip, who accompanies Nemo on most of his adventures from that point onward. Yet this trip was far from a fairy tale. Many strips often dealt with darker and more surreal, threatening themes that, although hardly the focus, didn't always have a happy resolution. The comic was notable for the fact that most comics, unlike those that existed at the time, which often adopted the minimalistic art style, McKay's comics often used large amounts of color with heavy detail to the bright, dark, fascinating, and often surreal imagery of the dream world. However, be warned that one of the characters, the Imp, is very much a racial archetype, as was the case with many comics at the time. It seems that the 3rd run of the series is currently lost. The early runs of the comics, of course, have archives that can be located easily on the web. Sadly, the last of which is not in the public domain, and as such most comics from this run, although exist in the Library of Congress, are not directly accessible to the public, and thus are lost.